Today, our topic is disruption. How do we deal with disruption? We live in an age of exponential change. How do we deal with that? We will discuss strategies. Robots are replacing jobs. AI is coming. So you'll need to work with machines, robots, algorithms to survive in this day and age. So why do you need to create your own assets? Remember what I told you in the seminar of first week. Why do we need to create our assets? Why? Because jobs are in decline. It's the end of the Industrial Revolution. It's the start of the entrepreneurial revolution. Career ladder is broken. All jobs are down, in decline, unfortunately. There is too much uncertainty. There is too much disruption. That's why you need to think like an entrepreneur. Disrupt yourself. Remember this poster? Let's go back to this. It's all about disruption. The world is changing really fast. Therefore, you need to be adaptive. You need to be fast. You need to be learning every day. That's how you disrupt yourself. You need to be open to what is changing in the world around you. So today's key message is the following. Either disrupt yourself or you will get disrupted. If you live too comfortably, if you are too comfortable, then somebody will come and take your job. This might be a robot, this might be GPT-4, this might be artificial intelligence, or this might be somebody who is better in your job than how you do it. Yeah? So you need to be really the best in the world in what you do. That's why you need to think like an entrepreneur. Which British artist depicts disruption and destruction in the best way? When you think about disruption, who comes to your mind? Any guess? Banksy. Banksy is the one. Let's look at the auction in London.
And with commission, that's more than £1 million. This is one of Banksy's most iconic pieces. But just moments later, it seemed to drop through the frame and appear shredded into pieces. A stunt that sent gasps through the crowd. Reaction to last night's self-destruction was captured on camera by this artist.
We were there, and then there was the auction, and then suddenly everything was, people are laughing and joking and looking around, turning like something happened or something fell down. Everybody didn't believe that it was real, and that was the great thing, that we came out thinking it's a joke.
Banksy first started out with a series of graffiti pieces on buildings across the country and is well known for his stunts. In 2013, he set up a stall selling what appeared to be fake Banksys for $60. It was later revealed they were the real deal and worth up to £20,000 each. In the early hours of this morning, he posted a picture of his latest stunts on Instagram, writing, "Going, going, gone."
I think he was there. I know he was there. We artists, we feel each other's, we feel the vibration. I think he was there, and he was laughing.
Well, we don't know who filmed this. Was it Banksy himself? Perhaps the latest twist in the tale of street art's most subversive character. Helen Keenan, ITV News.
So what happened in the end was this shredded artwork ended up being even more original and more expensive than the unshredded one. So disruption is good. Destruction is good. Sometimes art thrives on uncertainty. Art thrives on disruption. So Banksy says disruption is a key part of creativity. You can discover his artwork more if you click on the links. Which documentary depicts the role of disruption, inspiration in advertising? It's an old documentary. It is about advertising and disruption. It's called Art and Copy. Art and Copy. Let's have a look.
Thing about being what somebody calls a creative person is that you have absolutely no idea where any of your thoughts come from, really. And especially if you don't have any idea about where they're going to come from tomorrow.
Absolutely do not put that commercial in the air.
This is the devil's workshop.
Get that commercial off the air.
People went crazy.
Did you see that thing?
Oh, by the way, I'll take it.
This goes on and on and on and on.
I'm getting thousands of phone calls.
I want
I got you. I got you by the balls. That's advertising, baby.
I always thought that advertising was the most whorish business a person could get into.
Advertising makes food taste better. It makes cars run better. It changes the perception of everything.
What you can do is manufacture any feeling you want to manufacture.
I guess I understand why people trash advertising, because a lot of advertising is trashy. You can do so much more.
I hated the system. I hated the status quo. Advertising should be statements about what the hell you think your life should be about.
All they cared about is milking money out of clients. How big do you want the logo, sir? You can be more than just a car company, more than just a pet food company.
You can speak honestly and use this profession to do that. Weird shit can happen.
I think anything. I can get excited about selling a new kind of pen. I said, wow, look at that pen. Yeah, it's a little this, it's a little does this. Wow, that sounds good. Let me sell that mother.
Okay, so this person who is talking in the documentary wrote a book, Damn Good Advice. It's a great book for advertisers. He's an advertising guru. Who is he? Do you know this guy who was talking in this documentary? He is called George Lewis. He's one of the fathers of icons of advertising. And this is one of his advertisements. This is 1990s, okay? Nobody knows Tommy Hilfiger. You want to let everyone know that he is a great designer. How do you do that in 1 week using the magic of advertising? You will use billboards, okay? And you will use advertising in newspapers. How would you do that? You want to attract attention. So that's what he did. The 4 great American designers for man are, this is a puzzle. Let's solve it. Ralph Lauren, Perry Ellis, yeah? Calvin Klein, and the 4th one is Tommy Hilfiger, yeah? So he gave this puzzle to everyone. And everybody tried to solve the puzzle, but they didn't know about Tommy Hilfiger. So he put this on the map using this advertising. There is a great video about disruption.
After a major disruption where someone's going to be called a trillionaire, not a billionaire, in the next 5, 10, 15 years. So I'm going to give you a lot of different industries that are about to go extinct, and I'll put the given out, the ones that everybody knows about. I'm not covering the ones that you've heard many different times, such as, you know, publishers, newspapers, magazines, cashiers, travel agents, manufacturing workers, bank tellers, taxi drivers, radio, GPS. I'm not covering those. I'm assuming you already know those are going to be extinct here very soon. I want to give some new ones here that we haven't talked about before in the past. So let me get right into it. First, business. I think the game of restaurants is going to change dramatically. Now, let me explain what I'm not talking about. I'm not talking high-end restaurants. Why am I not talking about high-end?
So he reviews each industry. Have a look. In 20 minutes, you will get a complete picture of different industries and how they are being disrupted. He's one of the best-known entrepreneurs. So get his advice, learn more about disruption dynamics. Okay? World Economic Forum also talks about disruption. Klaus Schwab, the pandemic represents a rare, narrow window to reflect, reimagine, reset our world. And we experienced this reset. It is called the Great Reset. This occurred in 2020s. It's now in history books due to the pandemic and the lockdowns. Everything has shifted. as you can see here. Some of the deeper shifts are listed here. So we are now living in a completely new world, thanks to this great reset. When we think about the future, we assume that things will be the same, but they will never be the same. Think about it. Our brains are linear. We think linearly. We think that tomorrow will be like today. No, tomorrow will be very different from today. So it will not be linear. Think about 2020. We had the black swan, the pandemic, the coronavirus, the crisis, the pandemic, and then the depression. And technology companies gaining 2 trillion value. Right now, they are getting even bigger. So there is a lot of large-scale changes, unexpected movements. Experts are talking about Mars, interstellar travel, moon base, accelerated genome sequencing, little nuclear power plants, and the climate apocalypse. So these are all scenarios that futurists are thinking about and preparing for. So therefore, we live in a very complex world which is changing in an accelerated pace. We have new world powers that are rising. China, India, the world is shifting. The power is moving to the east. Everything is changing in this new world. And you need to be ready for change and disruption. Well, let's think about 2020. In just 1 year, we had so many technological breakthroughs. AlphaFold, GPT-3, Neuralink, quantum supremacy, Starlink satellites, anti-aging drugs. We experienced the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, wildfires, elections, stock market highs and lows, and historical technological changes, all in 1 year. And all 2020s are like this now. Even 2024, there is so much happening at the same time. It's difficult to keep track. Robots are coming after COVID, and everything is accelerated. Everything is faster and faster. 20 years from now, the rate of change will be 4 times today. In 40 years, it will be 16 times today. So you can see gross world product here. It has skyrocketed recently, as you can see. This is world history has never seen something like this. We live in totally new times, non-linear times. Look at time. Everything was very stable, and then suddenly, everything is changing very fast, very fast. So the rate of paradigm shift rate, it is doubling every 10 years. This is so important to grasp. Right now, the paradigm shift rate is, if it is 1 times, in 2030s, it will be 2 times today, and then it will double every 10 years. So when you're about to retire, that means the rate of change that you will experience will be 32 times. 32 times faster. Can you imagine this? That means you will live 1 year's change in just 1 month or less. In just a week or 2, you will experience so much disruption, so much change, so much acceleration. So it's a brave new world that we are not ready for. Look at the pandemic times. This happened during the pandemics. E-commerce, telemedicine, streaming videos, remote learning, they all doubled, quadrupled very fast. So we won't be experiencing 100 years of change in the next century. We will witness about 20,000 years of progress. 20,000 years of progress, he says. Who is he? He predicts technological singularity. What is singularity? The moment that machines become smarter than humans. And he says it will happen sometime during 2040s, during our lifetimes. In 2045, or around those times, he predicts machines will be smarter than humans, which will change the course of history. Who is he? Who is this guy? Any guess? No. Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil, who is at Google, and he's a futurist. Read him, read his work. So everything is accelerating. Right now, alpha generation, they are 10 years old right now. When they are 60, they will experience a year of change in just 11 days. So Harari says, you need to reinvent not only new ideas and products, you need to reinvent yourself every day. Because our brains are not easy to change. We are not open to change. Many of the times, like we block ourselves. We look very narrowly. We don't change easily. It's due to our evolution. Our brains are very slow when it comes to change. Why? Because change is uncomfortable. It is unknown. When you start changing, everything becomes shocking. It's not easy at all. But you need to overcome that fear, and you need to step beyond, and you need to step into the unknown, jump into the unknown, even if it is very fearful. It's like jumping into cold water. It's very scary. You never know what will happen. Yet, you need to take that step. So here are some puzzles. Fortune 500 companies, 1955 versus 2014. What percent do you think stayed on the list? 1955. Think about companies like BMW, Coca-Cola, all the classics. They stayed on the list, right, in 2014. But some of them dropped. What percent do you think stayed? Any guess? 24, that means like 76% dropped, yeah? That's a good guess. Very well done. That's enough good guess. I would expect the same, yeah? But it is almost 90%. 90% have dropped from the list. Just 11% have stayed. Just 11. Guess the average age of Standard & Poor's companies during 1920s versus right now. The average age has declined, right? The companies are younger now. They are getting younger and younger because of disruption. So in 1920s, these companies were really old companies, right? They were there for a long time. But this declines. So 67, they were 67 years old in 1920s. Right now, this is 12 years only, and it keeps dropping. Why? Because there are new entries. There are new unicorns, new companies coming to this list, unicorns, all the time. So average lifespan keeps dropping down. Right now, it is less than 12 years. It is close to 11 years. But it will drop even faster. In just a couple of years, what percent will stay on the current list? Based on estimates, 40% will disappear. 60% will survive on this list. So how do we survive, thrive in this day and age? I prepared 10 posters for you. You can check it out, okay, from the link. And the pandemic lockdown enabled me to reinvent myself. I reinvented myself during the pandemic. I told about my story. How did I do that? You can read about my story here. Okay? Have a look. So, you need to take small steps, create every day, use your creativity, follow your interests, but have a long-term perspective in order to create exciting things and disrupt yourself. That's what he did. He's a young person. I'm just 19 years old, he says. I made over $5,000 this month selling digital products. So you can also do this. That means you need to start thinking like an entrepreneur. Start selling online. You can also start your own business, digital business, and sell maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars each month. If you disrupt and increase value, capture value. Ninja makes 500,000. Ninja.
Every time you're away from that console, are you making a calculation about how much money you're not making? How much money are you losing sitting here with me right now?
I mean, it's not like an absorbent amount, but it's enough to be like, dude, what are you doing?
Tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, definitely. That's a perfect assessment.
You know how many hours you've streamed this year?
Fortnite alone is like 3,400 or 3,800 of Fortnite.
That's this year.
It's 142 days of streaming.
142 days of streaming.
Of gaming and streaming, yeah.
You mentioned this happening in the last year. There was, you played video games with Ellen, you danced last night with Fallon, you had this ESPN, the magazine cover,
yes,
which
man.
For a lot of people was the wake-up call.
Right.
One of the things that blew people's mind in this article was the quote that you make $500,000 a month. I don't believe it because I believe you make a lot more than that.
On a good month.
And it was when you were making 80 or 90 a year that you decided, I can get out of college and I can quit Noodles and Company,
yep.
Right?
That was the deciding factor. Was my mom, by no means was she going to let me quit my job or drop out of school.
Parents are like that everywhere, yeah? Oh my God, my son, don't quit university, don't quit your job. Come on, Mom, I became a millionaire. I'm making millions every month. No, you can't quit school, she said.
Then I say that like drop out of school. I don't even like that because I always had every intention of going back. I actually did go back when I had like an eye issue thing. My stream took a dive. But yeah, after it was like 80,000 a year. I was like, Mom, I'm doing this until if I make less, I'll go back.
Could you be the first $10 million a year gamer?
Definitely.
But you must meet people who have no idea that people make money.
It's rare. If I had $1 for every time I was at an airport. So what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to a tournament. Oh, what kind of a tournament? I'm like, it's a video game tournament. A video game tournament? You make money playing video games? And it's just, I'm
play this out. And then you have to tell them there's money.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah.
Okay, so what other examples are there? 12-year-old makes 400K after selling non-fungible tokens, and then he increases it to 5 million. 5 million just by selling non-fungible tokens. And this guy is just 12 years old. And this is the new economy. You need to be really smart, flexible, but also open to learning, open to risk. You need to think like an entrepreneur. Another example is from Philippines. In Philippines, rice workers are shifting to this blockchain game. It is called Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity. It is the non-fungible token economy. It's like Pokemon Go. They make money through this online world, and they make about $2,000 each month. $2,000 each month. So rice workers are stopping rice work and starting these online games to make more money, because they make more money here. So this is the passion economy. If you have some passion or curiosity, you need to create your own content, your own storytelling, and build your own audience. People are doing this. They are building their own audience. You can see blogging like Medium, subscription newsletters like Substack, videos like TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. And you can create your podcasts, or you can create your courses, online courses. Or you can create project-based funding in Kickstarter. So these are the new platforms. Or you can build your memberships through Patreon. Don't go to OnlyFans, okay? Ignore that. Find others. Find others. But this is the new economy, okay? People make a lot of money through these programs by building their audience. So this is your opportunity. Through your class project, you can also create your own audience. Where will you be? I want you to choose your platform. Which one would you like to be? And how do you build your audience? Think about it. And write it down in your notebook, how you will do it. You can choose any of these except OnlyFans, okay? Don't choose that one. Please write your goal in your notebook. How will you grow your audience? How will you grow your content? What are you curious about? TikTok star Charli D'Amelio makes $50,000 from each of her videos. $50,000. So you are under no obligation to stay as the same person that you were a year ago, a month ago, even a day ago. You are here to create yourself continuously, reinvent yourself every day, continuously. If you do that, you will learn much faster. You will take some risk, but you will also reinvent yourself and learn much faster. So we experienced the great resignation. Many people are retiring early, resigning from their jobs. They are not happy in their jobs. They are not happy at all. So they choose to become entrepreneurs. They say no. So this is a book called Subtract. How can you subtract from your life? I want you to have a look at this poster. What can you eliminate from your life? What do you want less of? You want to eliminate what? Make a list, please. Write in your notebook. This is your not to-do list. You will not be doing these things. What are they? What should you stop doing? Please create a not to-do list. I will stop doing what? Make a list. Can you simplify your life? Can you say no? Can you be more focused? Can you focus on your true strategic priorities? If you spend, let's say, 3 hours on TikTok, then you might want to stop doing that. Just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It doesn't add too much, right? It's a waste of time. So what else do you need to stop doing? Think about it. Instead, can you start thinking like an entrepreneur to add value? How can you add strategic value for the long term? Think about it. So entrepreneurial spirit is more alive than ever. Generation Z are hustling for their post-COVID futures. They are all becoming entrepreneurs. We call this YOLO economy. You live only once. You live only once. Then that means you need to get satisfaction, happiness from your life. Do the best that you can. Live it like an adventure. Establish your own business. Become a hero. Become an entrepreneur. And see what happens. Maybe you will fail. That's absolutely fine. You can fail and continue to learn from your failures. It will be a great adventure because you live only once. We call this the YOLO economy. You live only once in this life. So why not try harder? Think like an entrepreneur. Establish your own business. and see what happens. So I have formulated 10 steps for you. Please click on the links and read about these. If you do these 10 things, then you will be in a much better place in 10 years. So this is your strategic roadmap, okay? Click on the links and apply these steps. Are you doing these things? Look at these 10 things. Are you doing them? Or are you neglecting them? If you are neglecting any of these, please take a note. Click on the links, read more, so that you can improve yourself. So ask yourself these questions. Can you design your life to multiply your creativity, 10x? Can you keep learning, expanding your mind, expanding your creativity? Can you be more curious? Can you design more fun, surprise, novelty in your life so that you don't get bored? Can you challenge yourself to create amazing things, fresh things? So if you have any ideas that respond to these, please create at least one idea to respond to these questions. How can you achieve this? Let's say you want to have more adventure, more surprises, more twists in your life. Imagine we are filming you, turning your life into a Hollywood movie, yeah? You are the hero. So why should we care about your life? How will you add tremendous value? Where is your story? Where is your adventure? And what will be your adventure? Think about it and write it down, please. What is unique about your life, your contribution? Capture that idea, please. Can you live your life like a hero? How? So here is another puzzle. Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He wrote a theory on unpredictable events. An unpredictable event is beyond what is expected, and it has severe consequences. He wrote a book on this. Do you know this book? He calls these events what? Events like COVID. Exactly. Well done. Who said it? Well done. Black Swan. He wrote this book called Black Swan. Thank you so much. Thank you. Black Swan. September 11 is a black swan. Trump's election, Brexit, COVID, pandemic, all of these are black swans. So I wrote an article on this. Please click on the link and read it and learn more. According to him, what are the most harmful addictions? Any guess? These are top 3 most harmful addictions. You should avoid these, he says. Any guess? Heroin? Social media might be, yeah, I agree, but not. Carbohydrates, they are addictive, he says. Carbohydrates are very dangerous. And a monthly salary, he says. A monthly salary. Because why? You get comfortable, yeah? If you get too comfortable, that's not good for you. You need to think like an entrepreneur, okay? So this is from the Black Swan. What do we call a problem that is very difficult to solve, such as inequality, climate change, financial crisis? These are very complex problems. What are they called? Wicked problems. Wicked problems. So wicked problems are very complex, not easy to solve. Why? Because there is uncertainty. You don't know. There are many unknowns. Your career is a wicked problem because there are so many unknowns. You need to be prepared for every contingency. Okay? How do you do that? So if your career is a wicked problem, how do you solve this? Any guess? There are too many unknowns. You never know. So that means you need to be prepared for multiple scenarios, right? You need to be resourceful. Be prepared for multiple contingencies. You need to be flexible, resilient, resourceful, entrepreneurial. So my recommendations, number one, don't settle with the easiest, most convenient option to you. Don't just settle. Always be paranoid and search for better options. Number two, you need to cultivate diverse seeds, diverse projects all the time. Think of these as your garden, asset garden. You are growing multiple projects, multiple seeds, multiple careers in your garden, okay? And see which options have more potential for growth, and grow these. And you need to be prepared for uncertainties through resilience, resourcefulness, entrepreneurship, and creativity. If you do these things, then you are well set, you are well prepared. So you need to have the growth mindset for this. Carol Dweck has created the book, The Growth Mindset. So you need to have a growth mindset to overcome problems and see opportunities for growth. How do you do that? These are the new rules. I want you to have a look at these new rules. Choose your top three. Which ones are your top three favorites? Which ones do you like best? Please choose your top three. Try to choose the ones that are surprising. Is there anything surprising here? Are these all expected? Were you expecting these? Or are there any surprises? Choose your top three, please. And these are my laws. I'm using these. Which ones are your top three? Again, I'm using these laws to create my assets. Choose your top three favorite ones, again, from this list. Try to choose the surprising ones. Okay, let's wrap it up. Which book is the bestseller on personal finance? It sold more than 40 million copies. Which book is this? I couldn't hear. Okay, that's a good one, yeah, but it's not that one. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Kiyosaki. So he says you need to jump from this side to the other side if you want to get rich. So you need to change your thinking. So how do you become rich based on this book? What are the basic principles? Any guess? How do you become rich? You need to grow your assets, right? You need to have assets, buy assets. Buy assets if you have money, yeah, because they will bring you income. But you need to also create your assets, right? What else? Make money work for you. Make money work for you. So that means investing. You should invest your money. Your money should never stay idle. If you put your money, inflation will bring its value down. Yeah? You will become poorer and poorer every year. You can't just save it. You have to invest it. You need to create or buy assets. Increase your assets and avoid debt or decrease your liabilities. You need to start saving, investing early on in your life, even with small amounts. And you need to create multiple streams of passive income. This is very important. That means even when you are sleeping, you need to build machines that will grow income. Think of these as money trees. You are growing trees of money. Even if when you are sleeping, these money trees are continuing to grow, yeah? And you make money even when you are sleeping. That's how you get rich. You don't get rich through salary. This is summarized here. You need to jump from the ES side to the BI side, okay? Let's look at the ES side, E and S. E is employee. You have a job. You have a full-time job. You have no leverage. S is self-employed. You own a job. Both of these people, E and S, time is money. The more time you put, the more money you get. But your time is limited because you just have 24 hours in one day, yeah? Like you can work for how many hours? Maybe 10 hours every day. That's very limited. That means there is a limit to the amount of money that you can make. That's why these people end up becoming poor. They are poor. Employees are poor. Self-employed people are poorer, yeah? They are poor, why? Because time is money for them, okay? Unfortunately, these are 95% of the world's population. 95% of the population are either employees or self-employed. That means they are poor. They have only 5% of the world's wealth and money. So you need to jump to the other side. How do you jump to the other side? You either need to become a business owner or you need to become an investor. These people are just 5% of the world's population. 5% of the world's population. Yet, they own and have leverage over 95% of all the money and capital. They are the rich, richest of the rich, yeah? How do they become rich? They either own a system, you create value, you build a business system, you build a money-making machine. You create money all the time. Money works for you. You use people, smart people, they work for you. You build a good business. You build a good brand. They create enormous value. And then this increases your profitability, yeah? And your stock prices are up. That's how you get rich, yeah? Your company, you own a stake, you get richer, yeah? Or you own investments. You invest in these companies. You own stocks. Or you own Bitcoin, Ethereum, things that will increase in value. Investments. You own real estate, let's say. Real estate will increase in value. Yeah? You can rent it out. So you have all these assets and investments that are working for you. That's how you become rich. Otherwise, you cannot become rich due to your salary. If you just depend on your salary, you will get poorer and poorer and poorer after years. Yeah? You need to find ways of achieving multiple streams of income and turn them into investments and assets. That's how you get rich. So all of these existed before 2007. Sorry, which of these existed? Which of these existed before 2007? Which of these do you think existed? Instagram. That is after 2007, right? Snapchat. Again, after. Pinterest, TikTok. All of them are after. Airbnb, Uber, Tesla. All of them are after 2007. Bitcoin, blockchain. All of them are after 2007. So none of these existed in 2007. That means there is a lot of room for innovation. The world is changing very fast. That means you can also change the world in 10 years. Maybe you will invent some of the innovations of the next decade. The world is changing so fast that maybe you can also become an inventor. Let's look at top global brands. How they are changing. Coca-Cola, Microsoft, IBM are at the top, General Electric. And then you see the rise of Google. And then the rise of Apple. Apple becomes 1, Google becomes 2. And then you see the rise of Amazon. All the technology companies are rising to the top. Okay? So tech companies become at the top. Which company compiles disruptors every year? This is a list compiled by whom? CNBC. They collate disruptors every year.
We are unveiling our 8th annual Disruptor 50. That's our annual list of fast-growing private companies that are transforming the economy. Julie Borston joins us now with a look.
Quantitative and qualitative response to the pandemic. At more than 200,000 e-tailers and has become one of Europe's largest banks.
If we can play a part.
Number 3, Indigo Agriculture, on a mission to fight climate change and secure the world.
Practices were actually reducing their footprint.
Coupang, the Amazon of South Korea, with a few twists, including reusable anything online. Stripe, if you're buying just about anything online, Stripe is likely helping with the payment.
So they choose these companies every year. You can check out, Google this, and you will see these new disruptors every year. Look at them. What are they up to? Can you also become a disruptor? Can you also add value? Maybe you can kickstart your career in one of these. If you are passionate about some of these, think about these companies. Do some research. These are the biggest disruptors. They have all become unicorns. So do research about them. How did they become disruptors? These disruptors are unicorns. That means they have reached $1 billion mark. So these 50 companies have raised $56 billion, and they reached a valuation of more than $552 billion. And they are working on some of the world's most important innovations, such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, biotech, machine learning, drones, genes, or dealing with climate crisis. So how can you add value? Ask yourself in these questions. World Economic Forum expects you need to spend how many days in 1 year? Any guess? Right now? Out of 365 days, you need to learn 101 days, at least. Okay, so that means if you do not keep learning almost every day, you cannot keep up. You cannot keep up. It's very difficult to keep up. I call this fear of not keeping up. I wrote an article on this. Here is the article. FONCO, fear of not keeping up. So everything is disrupted. Look at technology, how it changed in 50 years, 40 years. But the school systems are the same. They are not disrupted. So during COVID, which streaming service was the most expensive? Yes, it was Harvard, right? It disrupted everything about education. So if we think about what makes Harvard valuable, if we unbundle it, this is the campus, right? All the campus and everything. That makes a university. Everything is being disrupted here due to COVID. So let's look at some new models. Which university has no teachers, no syllabus, no fees? This is a startup called École 42. École 42. It started in Paris and then went to the US as well.
Amazing.
It's super exciting.
I think it's awesome. Amazing. It's about time.
So it's a coding university, tuition free, 18 to 30 years old, no diploma.
So the really awesome thing about going to 42 is you feel like you're walking into a school from the future.
There were people in the room, it was I think 11:30 at night, and you could see young people working on coding.
When I walk the halls of 42 in Paris, it makes me wish I could spend my time in that building learning.
I think 42 can bring a lot of things to the educational system in the United States.
Educational institutions and even the nonprofit institutions are now charging a lot of money, and people have to go into debt in order to enroll in school.
You know, globally, the education system hasn't evolved as fast as technology.
Do you think that the innovation is going to come from the government, sort of, mandating these new classes? Probably not. We can support that effort, but it probably does take stuff like 42 to come along and really change how people.
So the world of education is being disrupted very fast. These are some of the innovations. Click on the links to learn more. For example, one of the schools, you pay tuition only after and if you get a job. Which school is this? You pay tuition to the school only after and if you get a job. It's a fraction of your salary. It's called Lambda School. And it raised 74 million for virtual coding school. Which company started 49 per month courses to replace college education? Remember this one? Google, right? Google. Google is replacing college degrees. You don't need college anymore, says Google. So here's your exercise. If you design University of the Future, learning of the future, how would you disrupt it? In just 1 minute, please brainstorm some ideas on your notebook. Or you can also discuss with your friend, how would you disrupt higher education, university education? Do you have any ideas? Maybe you can discuss it with your friends in the next 1 minute or two. Or you can write your ideas down in your notebook, as you wish. How would you make this more innovative, higher education, more innovative? How would you disrupt it? We are in dire need of innovation. How should we do it? We need to transform university education. Just jot down some ideas in 30 seconds or discuss them. How should we do this? Any ideas? Here's how I would do it. This is my map, University of the Future. I created a mental map, as you can see. University of the future should be very fast, experimental, disruptive, technological, digital, and open. Yeah? But how do we do that? So it has to be self-directed. That means you take charge of your own learning journeys. It has to be personalized. You can personalize your journey. It has to be contextual, impactful. That means you need to solve real-world problems. It has to be practice-based, skill-based. That means you need to develop employable, entrepreneurial skills. It has to be creative, inspirational. That means you need to pursue your passions. It has to be generative. That means you need to build your own assets. You need to create your own assets. And it has to be playful, imaginative. That means you need to be able to think about new possibilities, bring them to life. Okay? So that's my vision of the new university, new higher education. That's why I created this module. Because I wanted this module because I believe you need to design your own learning paths. And this is the only module where you have the opportunity to do this, because you can design your own journey in this module. You can create your assets, you can be creative, you can be entrepreneurial, you can create your own business model, you can create your own stories, YouTube channel, whatever you wish to do, really. And you can add tremendous value doing that. So here's my proposition. Universities should be places for imagination. Curriculum is based on creativity, innovation. Degrees are journeys of exploration. Classes are experiments. Failures are failures of imagination. Successes are just experiments again. Exams are boot camps of creation. It's a startup boot camp. Professors are champions for journeys of these journeys. And departments are eliminated to enable multidisciplinary collaboration and innovation. So if we can pull this off, then this will be the new university that is needed in this day and age. So I've included CV adventures, CV guides. Please do them at home. I've written an article on how to make your CV outstanding. Please make sure you read this. I also wrote an article on how to write an absolutely impressive cover letter. Please also read this. Okay? And remember to go over these 15 strategies as well. If you haven't read this, please read this and apply these. So the last thing that we will do today, in the last half an hour, we will have mock interviews, okay? So let me start with a puzzle. Google's top employees need 8 important qualities. What are they? Google searches for these 8 qualities. These are the Google top employee qualities needed. Being a good coach, listening, communicating well, possessing insights into others, curiosity, empathy, good critical thinker, problem solver, connections across complex ideas, and emotional intelligence. If you have these, then Google will hire you. Okay? So here is the last thing that we will do today, okay? Which is the most important thing of today. If you want to disrupt yourself, you need to get ready for the job market. I want you to attend a job interview. We will do mock job interviews in just a couple of minutes, okay? You'll do this in groups of 2. Okay? Find a cluster. You'll do this in groups of 2. We will do mock interviews. The question is the following. Why should we hire you instead of 120 other applicants? 120 people applied for this job. Why should I choose you? That's the question. And you need to respond to that question, okay? You need to have a really good story to tell your employer. Why should I hire you instead of hundreds of others? So please come up with a story that illustrates you as a hero. Which soft skills do you have? out of these? Teamwork, communication, creativity, problem solving, leadership, customer service, or a mix of these? How can you act as a hero? Please come up with a story that shows evidence for these skills. Write down that story. So you are the hero. This is your life. You are the hero. The hero means the hero goes to this unknown place and transforms himself or herself to add value. How do you add value? You need to tell a story. Okay? Here is a sample story. I was the team leader. I enrolled in my school. The team members were not motivated. And there was conflict. Regardless, I acted as a leader, created unity, worked very hard. We got to the national level. We got a third place medal. When I was challenged to do the impossible, they were not motivated. My character, devotion, leadership, persevered, helping the team. So this is a great story. Here's another one, customer service. This is a video rental company. I was a service representative. There was an irate customer. She left 3 messages on my voicemail. I listened to the customer explain she was upset. She purchased a loyalty program. And I apologized. And she stated she wanted her money back. She would no longer be a member. I agreed to refund her money, bought her a thank you card, enclosed her refund, a free membership to our loyalty program. During the conversation, the kids, she stopped to yell at her kids. So I enclosed 2 coupons for free kids rentals. I thanked her for her business, apologized, invited her to bring her children, and then called me directly. She phoned me. She told me that was the nicest thing any person had ever done for her when she was upset with a business. So this is a great story, right? This hero turned around the situation. It was a very tough problem, yet this client representative, this acted as a hero, yeah? Brought the customer back and increased the value and the brand value of the organization. So I want you to write down your own story now in the next couple of minutes. What is your story? Let's say we invited you to the job. Why should I hire you? Convince me through your story. How did you act as a hero? Did you act as a hero? Did you save the day? Did you turn around the situation? How? How did you do it? Please write it down in bullet points. What was the incident? What happened? How did you save the situation? How did you become a hero for your organization that you were working for? Please remember that incident. How did you add value? Be ready to tell that story. Capture it in bullet points. What happened? What was the context? What did you do? How did you act as a hero? Please write it down. Be ready. Imagine that you are attending the job interview in just 2-3 minutes, okay? You have 2-3 minutes to finish this up. Write it down. Be ready. And then we will do the interviews, okay? And then we will end today's class. So this is the last exercise of today, but this is the most important one. Please capture your story. How did you act as a hero? How did you save the day? Be ready to tell your story. Wrap up in 1 minute, please. Wrap up in 1 minute. Capture all the details. What was the context? How did you do it? What was the problem? How did you solve it? Did you use creativity, leadership? What type of skills did you use? How did you use them? How did you solve the problem? Try to find something impressive. A story that they will remember after the interview is over. You'll tell this story in the job interview so that they will remember you. So out of hundreds of applicants, you should be the outstanding one. And you can do this through your story. Okay? Choose that story. This is the most impressive story of your life, your career. What is it? And when you tell about this, they won't ever forget about you. They will remember you. Oh, we had this outstanding candidate who was a hero. Amazing personality, amazing problem-solving skills, amazing leadership. We need to work with this person. They should remember you, yeah? Please wrap it up. Be ready for the job interview. Now, you will be working in pairs, in groups of 2, okay? So you can move around, find another person that you can do this exercise with, okay? Move around, find the other person, okay? How will you use your body language? We will start with a handshake, okay? You'll interview one another, okay? But before we do that, how do we use body language? Let's have a look. You will apply this body language, okay?
By telephone, by email, through social media. It may be months or even years before we meet. When we do, we've made a good first impression, but then our body language kicks in. Does it help us or hurt us? Christine Yonke's going to talk about that with us.
I'm looking forward to meeting Deborah for the first time in person. And here are the things that I'll be looking for in terms of how I draw or form that initial impression. Number 1, eye contact. Does she look at me directly? 2, what is the quality of her voice? Does it sound inviting? No doubt we'll shake hands, so I'll be feeling for the firmness of her handshake. And then finally, what does she say? What is her opening message to me? Can't wait to meet Deborah.
Glad that we could do this. I'd like to talk a little bit about the things that people do to help their case or hurt their case when they finally meet someone after making that connection by email, by phone, through social media. And when you and I spoke on the telephone, you mentioned that the voice is the one thing that carries over both from the phone to person. So let's start with that, and how does what people do with their voices help them or hurt them?
If there's any element of how we present ourselves that's overlooked by most people, it is the quality of your voice. But the starting point is knowing how you sound. Does your voice project confidence? Is the tone warm? Does it have resonance? Or on the other hand, could your voice etch glass? A common mistake, and it's not even so much a mistake, but it's more of just a function of nerves. If you are a junior person and maybe interviewing for a first job, it's not unexpected that you might speak more quickly. Your pace may be too quick, but to know that if you lower the tone of your voice a little bit, that literally adds more meaning to your words. A lower tone sounds more substantive, and what you're talking about sounds more important. So when you meet someone for the first time, I think the things that are really important are, number one, eye contact. So I was looking to see, would you look me in the eye? And you did. And that was a very positive signal. When you're talking about something that's really important to you, don't look away mid-sentence, but hold your eye contact until the end of the sentence or the end of the thought.
What if we need a little break to look down at some point? When can we do that?
Yeah, you do get to blink. Not blinking is a little zombie-like. That will look a little odd to the person that you're talking to. So absolutely, you want good, steady eye contact. What you don't want to do is the eyes up towards the ceiling, as if the answers are hidden there. Shifty eyes back and forth, darting, which makes you look very nervous. Or constant up and down. So good steady eye contact, you need to break away a little bit, and when you want to take a real pause, go ahead and look down in a substantive way.
How about our hands? The first thing we did was to shake hands.
You're sending a signal with that handshake, and there's nothing worse than someone who grabs a hold of your hand and hangs on too long and pumps and pumps and pumps. Or I think second worse, and I think women are a little bit more guilty of that, the little finger clasp.
Like a fish.
Yeah, just like a cold fish at the worst, right? Not good.
And posture? What's the difference and what should we be doing?
Well, you want to have good posture just like your mother always told you to. The trick is to drop your shoulders back, and that will give you a nice presence. And then notice how I'm tilting forward from the waist a little bit. This is a very interactive posture. I'm signaling to you that I'm engaged. I'm interested in what you have to say, and again, it's conversational.
There's so much good information here. What's the one thing you would like people to take away from all of this?
Good steady eye contact and good posture, and you'll create a great first impression.
So please apply this as you start your job interviews. Now, I want you to work in clusters of 2, okay? Please find the other person. One of you will be the recruiter. Let's say people on this side. You be the recruiter now, okay? And the people on this side, you will be the job candidate, okay? And the question is the same, why should I hire you? And people on this side, the candidate, you will explain your story, share your story in just 2-3 minutes, okay? Start with a handshake, use your body language, introduce yourself, and then ask this question, why should we hire you? Tell us a story, and then tell your story, please. Let's start. Find your person, please. Sit next to each other. Start with a handshake. Start telling your story. People on this side, candidates, start your story, please. Wrap it up in 1 minute. Please wrap it up. Time is up. Please wrap it up. Time is up. Please stop. Now, finish your stories. Now, you will change the roles, okay? People on this side, you are hiring, you are the company now, recruiters. People on this side, you are now the candidate. Change the roles, start again with a handshake. Start again, please. Change the roles. Please wrap it up in 1 minute. 1 minute. Try to wrap it up, please. Please wrap it up. Okay, time is up. Now, I want each of you to provide each other constructive feedback. The most important part of today is this minute, okay? The next couple of minutes. I want each of you to act as a career mentor to one another. Act as a career mentor, give each other constructive feedback. If your friend has made some mistakes, please address, resolve, fix those mistakes. Help each other, okay? Be open to criticism. Be open to feedback. Try to honestly help each other, okay? Be honest, but also be kind. Have some courtesy, kindness, okay? Be supportive to one another, okay? Let's do it. Give feedback to one another. Both receive feedback and give feedback, please. Start. exchange your feedback, suggestions. Please try to wrap it up in 1 minute. Make sure you both receive and give feedback. Okay? Wrap it up in 1 minute. Now, before we finish, we have a final one task to do. We write each other a popcorn on a piece of paper. Write something kind, positive, supportive. Wishing your friend best luck on a piece of paper. Wish each other best luck in job applications. Write a positive message, okay? Something constructive, positive, supportive, kind. Write it on a paper, please, to one another. Give it as a gift. You will give this as a gift to one another. Please write your popcorns now. And give it to one another. You will keep this as a nice memory, okay? The memory of today. Try to give each other moral support. Give some motivation, inspiration. Support each other. Please wrap it up.